On March 16, 1966, a devastating wreck occurred at the Tehachapi summit, for it was one of the deadliest accidents before the 1989 runaway, but many years later, it seems this accident was still not forgotten. This is the story of the wreck of SP number 375, also known as the Southern Pacific Starpacer Disaster. March 16th, 1966, 2 a.m. in the morning. Most of the residents were still fast asleep, except for a 5-man SP crew who were making their way out of Los Angeles. train was making good time as it reaches Tehachapi Summit. But then, there was trouble. As the train roars through the summit, it was not slowing down, not even for a bit. In fact, the train continues its normal speed and eventually picks up more speed. Shortly after a sharp curve comes into view, it was already too late. The sight was catastrophic, as train 375 jumped the tracks and derailed at 5 o'clock in the morning. All 5 locomotives, and all but the last 2 cars and the caboose at the end of the train, took a dive into an embankment. The rear crew were lucky and didn't suffer a single injury on board because they were in the caboose. Sadly, the head-end crew were not so lucky, as the engineer and the brakeman who were on the head-end at the time both sadly died in the accident. This horrific sight was almost similar like the 1989 San Bernardino disaster or the 1989 Cajon Pass Runaway when SP7551 East jumped the tracks and derailed the entire consist at over 100 miles an hour. Around the same speed you'll see on Amtrak trains on the Northeast Corridor. The cab of 5482 was completely shielded off from the impact. The long hood of 5456 meanwhile was completely demolished, and the other 3 locomotives suffered a great amount of damage as well. So what was the cause of this train derailment? Well, obviously the cause of the crash was failing to reduce speed at a sharp curve up ahead. But why was the speed not reduced? Well, rumor has it that the head-end crew fell asleep between Mojave, milepost 380.7, and Bakersfield, milepost 312.9. If the head-end crew were awake and acknowledges the sharp curve, or if the rear-end crew contacts the head-end crew to make sure that the head-end crew were okay, or even pulls a brake valve in the caboose after realizing that the train was not in control, then this wreck would have been prevented. In the end, SD9s 5456, 5467, and 5488 were all deemed damaged beyond repair and scrapped. 8400 meanwhile was repaired, put back into service, and by 1980 it was renumbered to 7313. In the late 2000s it was sold to the Alabama Gulf Coast Railroad, renumbered as 6335, renumbered again years later as 3395, and still continues to operate as of late 2021. And 6900 was also repaired and was put back into service. It was also renumbered to 4700 by 1976. Its current whereabouts is still unknown to this day, but 4700 was probably presumed scrapped years later. It's been 56 years since this disaster occurred, but it's fair to say Cajon Pass will experience its Southern Pacific train wreck within the 2 decades to come, only 2 times more catastrophic.